Hello, strategic management students. Let's talk about resumes for a minute. It's Fred David here. I've had the opportunity to teach graduating BBA and MBA students now for close for 40 years. And that means I work with HR directors as these students are in the job market, helping students with their resume. I kind of know what HR directors and managers are looking for. So let me give you some guidelines that I love to see, like to see in students' resumes, because I know that's what the business world is kind of looking for. First of all, at the very center and at the top, you want to center your name, your address, your email address, your cell phone number at the center top of your resume in 12 font. Most of these HR folks, they really don't like going from 30 font down to 8 and so forth. Just stay 12 font all the way. And look, if you have a middle initial, you want to put it there with your name. That's the most professional way to do that. If you don't have a middle initial, no problem. Also, you want to avoid abbreviations in a resume. So even things like street and lane, I want you to spell it out. Spell the word street out, spell the word road out, spell the word lane out. We're not going to use LN, that type of thing. Okay, so and you don't need the word email, and you don't need the word cell phone. Just give the email address and the cell phone number. They are centered at the top on your resume. Okay, that's what you need to do on that part. Now, look, the next thing I want to see on your resume is a job objective. And the reason this is so important is what these HR folks are looking for. They're looking to see if what you're looking for matches with what they have to offer. So it's important to have a job objective, and you want to change this job objective now depending on what type of firm you would send it to. So an example job objective would look something like this: to obtain an entry-level position in marketing or advertising with a large manufacturing firm. Now, if I'm going to send my resume, if I'm a marketing major and I want to send my resume to a bank, I would change that and make it say, to obtain an entry-level position in marketing and customer service or customer relations with a financial institution. Okay, so we don't want any pronouns, please. Nowhere in the resume do I want to see any pronouns. My, I, that's going to be taboo in a resume. Okay, so beginning with the job objective, no pronouns. Folks, right below that job objective, for most of my students over these 40 years, you're going to want to have your education listed before your work experience. So now if you've got a substantial work experience, eight years or so, or in the military, that type of thing, maybe work experience will come before education. But for 80% of my folks, we want to go with education first, right below job objective. And that means we want to start off with the most recent university or college or whatever. So for example, if it's going to be Francis Marion University, Florence, South Carolina, fall 2015 to present, something like that. So it's going to be the name of the institution, the location, and when you were there. And then we want to have a few bullets there. For example, if you're a School of Business, for example, here at Francis Marion, we're AACSB accredited School of Business. So I would say that there, AACSB accredited School of Business. Okay, you want to have that as a bullet. And I remember I said no abbreviations. I'll make an exception for this one. Now that stands for American Association of Collegiate Schools of Business. So you definitely want to know that in case a recruiter or HR director were to ask you what that is. You could tell them about AACSB accreditation, how important that is. Folks, also as a bullet there, you want to put Bachelor of Business Administration degree, probably not bachelor's. No typos in this resume. Now, please, if these HR folks, if they see a typo 1, 2, 3, it discounts you. You lose the opportunity. So, Bachelor of Business Administration degree expected May 14th, 2021, something like that. And then another bullet, major in finance or major in marketing, whatever your major, make sure you get it correctly too. For example, here at Francis Marion, sometimes I'll see folks say major in management science, or Bachelor of Science in management. We don't even have a Bachelor of Science in management. We don't even have a major in management science. So make sure you get it right in terms of the exact terminology there. Okay, now folks, with regard to GPA, you could put a bullet there. You know, commonly across America and actually the world, GPA is looked at in 4 ways as you near graduation: last 60 hours, overall at the institution, in the School of Business, in your major. So I would say if you come up to a 3.0, let's say in your major, you would maybe want to have a bullet there. You would want to say, obtain 3.1 GPA in marketing, something like that. Okay, so be mindful of that as a possibility to include your GPA. I would say if you reach the 3.0 level under any one of those scenarios. Okay, now certainly other things you could put there as a bullet under your education. Were you on the president's list? Were you a Hope Scholar? Were you on the dean's list? That type of thing you can put there. You could put that down later in the resume under honors and activities, but you could put it right there under education too. It's your preference on that. Now, folks, the next part of this resume, I want you to have their work experience. And this is going to be, and of course, now look, if you went to a 2-year school or something like that, received an associate's degree or whatever, you want to put that right below your 4-year degree. And certainly if we're talking MBA program, then where was your undergraduate program, and right on down, even if you went to a 2-year school. So it's going to be chronological, most recent first. You understand? So that's the way you want to do that. Okay, now look, as we go to work experience, again, it's going to be chronological, most recent first. And we want to give the name of the place, the location, and when you were employed there. And even summer jobs, folks, can be meaningful because you're going to want to use business terminology in terms of how you write this up. Okay, so you're going to want to focus on skills learned rather than duties performed. You understand? When you write about your work experience. So even if I just worked, let's say I busted tables at a local restaurant, let's say Stefano's one summer, I would say give Stefano's the name, the location, when you were there, and then I would say something like, as a bullet, remember, no personal pronouns. I would say something like, learn the value of hard work, dependability, customer service, and pricing. Or I would say something like, gain experience with inventory control, purchasing, and customer service. Okay, so I'm going to try to use business terminology to reflect the skills I learned, even if all I did was ran a weed eater at a local garden shop and nursery all summer. You understand? So that's steer away from just talking about the duties performed, because what we're doing here, we want to make ourselves attractive to the next job we're seeking. And they're looking for what skills and did you learn at these previous work experience places. So chronological from the most recent, and work right on down, even summer jobs, whatever you think is meaningful on there. I tell you, as you finish up a BBA degree, let's say, certainly at the MBA, I typically do away with my high school in terms of putting it up there under education. Now, if you were valedictorian or salutatorian or something like that, I might carry my darn high school experience, locations, town, city, forever on my resume. But otherwise, I probably at this point would drop high school, but it's your choice on that. Now, look, below work experience, maybe have 2 or 3 or 4 of those. You want to go with maybe honors and activities. And this is where you could put things like any awards you've ever received, like I mentioned before, President's List, Dean's List, Hope Scholar, Eagle Scout, maybe even volunteer work you could put there under honors and activities. It could be a next section there. Certainly, if you have certain skills, honors, and activities. If you're really good in Excel, I would put that. I mean, if you speak Spanish fluently, you want to put that there. So, but if you do put something there, such as the Excel or the Spanish, make sure you're pretty daggone good at it, because that HR director maybe start speaking to you in Spanish. You understand? So you want to be fluent or whatever on that. Now, folks, lastly on the resume, I'm going to be looking for, I want you to list 3 references. And the reason I like you to list 3 references, maybe vertical or horizontal, depending on the use of the white space. Feel free to go to 2 pages if you need to, but I don't want to see just references on the second page. So it's going to be a matter in a resume of using white space on the page effectively, not cramped, double space after headings. Go to 2 pages if you really need something to say, unless you're compelled not to. Some of these places online like monster.com, career builder, and so forth limit you to 1 page. Well, I can give you a 1-page resume too, but if you're not constricted in that manner, go to 2 if you need to. But like I say, I don't want half of the second page to be nothing but white space. In that situation, I'm probably going to try to fit this on 1 page. And that's why I said on the references, you go either horizontal with 3 references or vertical, depending on how your spacing is running. But you want to put a person's name, their title, whatever, their contact information. And it's really going to be great if these 3 references relate to what you've said earlier in the resume. In other words, it doesn't need to come across as your best childhood friend or whatever as your reference. If you worked at a garden shop and nursery, maybe have the owner of that business there. So there you have that word owner of that business there under the reference. They can see that relates back to your work experience. And the reason it's good to have 3 references is because you know what these folks do when they receive your resume? They pick up the telephone and call these folks and ask them, what do you think about this person? And so it really gives you a leg up instead of them having to contact you and then you having to contact me or somebody else. And by the way, I'm happy to serve as a reference anytime for anybody on there. All I ask is you just email me a current copy of your resume so I'll have it fresh in my file or folder here. So anyway, those are some guidelines with regard to developing a fantastic resume. I can't emphasize too much how important it is. It's your only foot in the door many times is to have an exquisite resume. Remember, no typos anywhere, no personal pronouns anywhere, no abbreviations anywhere. I mean, you might want to abbreviate BBA degree, Bachelor of Business Administration degree. I probably would spell it out though and then put parentheses BBA. But those are some very important guidelines on resumes. I look forward to seeing your resume that meets these guidelines that we just talked about. I hope you have a good day today. We'll see you soon in class. Take care.